This episode is brought to you by our partnership with Grand Canyon University.
Hey there, welcome back to the Ignite Project podcast. We've got a really special, quick episode for you because we want to promote an extremely important event that we want you to know called Emerge Symposium. So I got Mallory Williamson here, teacher engagement coordinator. So we just wanted to pop in and say, hey, quick promo. We have a lot of really cool programs.
Yes.
If we don't say so ourselves.
We do. Completely biased.
That's right. And so you guys hear about our project, the Ignite Project podcast, and we're always bringing on educators who are inspirational. But it's also really aligned with our 3 pillars, and you may not know what those are. And so we focus on new teacher support, teacher leadership, district culture. And so Emerge Symposium, I don't know, but to me it kind of feels like they all come together. Would you agree?
They do, yes. And I feel like this is something that's not quite hidden, but not a lot of people know about it or they hear about it, and it's been a couple years since they've attended. Again, it may be the fact that our department's completely biased, but when I think about PD, I think about either what's taking place at my school campus or what's offered within the district, but this feels different, it is different, and there's a completely different buy-in. We have our very own teachers who are present. It's this conference feel, but it's a relaxed conference to not where you're so stickler about where you have to go and who you have to listen to.
Yeah.
So it really was really special when I got to attend, and the fact that I'm on the other side of it now is even cooler to watch.
Yeah. I bet those are listening are like, all right, this is a hook. So like, what is this? So in simple terms, Emerge Symposium is a teacher-led, educator-led mini conference. And it's led not by like famous educators from around the country. It's led from our very own educators. We've got teachers that are leading breakouts, district staff that are educators and support that are leading. We've got media specialists, reading coaches, like everybody. And they're our own people because everything that we've seen is teachers love learning from other teachers.
I love that also they have taken the courage to submit a proposal. So it's not like we handpick them and we're trying to like be behind the scenes. There's no favoritism. And really, who does it as a teacher? I think I responded more to other teachers giving advice because they knew presently in the classroom what I was looking for, or maybe how to roll it out in a way that was tangible to me. So you just know that going in, you're going to hear from a peer or a colleague, and they're accessible. There's somebody you're going to be able to follow back around, connect with, and it's not so scary when you're trying to seek advice about how to apply that.
Yeah,
So.
I totally agree because we hear that all the time, the feedback of like, man, it feels so much better knowing that other people struggle with this too, because we're so used to thinking, oh, I'm the only one that must be struggling with this, but you're not. There's lots of people out there that do. And what I love about Emerge Symposium that's different than all the other events, one, of course, it's a huge event. It's our biggest one that kind of integrates it all. You've got teacher leaders that are coming up and really talking, the pushing on culture, the supporting teachers. But the biggest thing is that it always has a theme, right? It always is focusing on something. And so in the past, we've talked about empathy. We've talked about making change when change is hard. And so this year, we're focusing on Dan Heath's book, Upstream, which is basically solving problems before they happen. And so I'm going to read this quote, which we've been like spreading everywhere. Dan Heath says, so often we find ourselves reacting to problems, putting out fires, dealing with emergencies. We should shift our attention to preventing them. And so when we tell that to teachers, they're like, yes, thank you. Because you feel like sometimes you're like just stuck, you know, having to deal with the problems that we have, and there's nothing you can do about it. And he says no.
And there's so many fires that are real right now happening that you feel like you have to put them out, or you see your administration putting out fires. And so our system is so large, right? And we get kind of this, like they mentioned in the book with problem blindness, we've talked about this, where you just kind of accept it. It is what it is. But these teachers at Emerge are actually doing things that are very innovative, are very rich in context, and they're trying to combat that where long-term down the road, maybe these problems won't even exist because they're an active solution solution to combat that. Let's just put out fires. Let's just react in the moment. Right. It can be a long-term solution.
I love it. And that's what we're all talking about is instead of trying to be just kind of subjected to, I'm never going to be able to do anything about the behaviors I have in my class. Yeah. I'm never going to be able to do anything about some of the curriculum that I can't wrap my arms around. So I'm super excited to see our own teachers are figuring out ways to get ahead of the problem. Yeah. So just like you said, the problems don't even exist in the future. Yeah. So I think we've trailed them along long enough. Let's hear, just real quick, here's who is speaking and their topics, so that way they can kind of have an idea of what to expect.
Yeah, so we have 12 participants, and I say participants because some have even decided to team teach a little bit. So if you are listening to this, definitely keep an eye out for your school because we're going to touch base on that. You want to support the person, and you may not even know that they applied to be at Merge, but surprise, they did. We've got Leah Bortnick from Lake Gibson High. She's really talking about the benefits of choice-based learning. Taylor Cameron and Crystal James, Lena Vista Elementary, they're talking about grit and grace, which I love that title alone. They're trying to get ahead of some really tough situations. Brandy Canoy, which has also been on, if you haven't heard her podcast, check it out. But she's hitting back on getting ahead of student discipline and, again, building those relationships. So good. Kathy Cubbage is actually bringing along a huge team. She's one of our ambassadors, but she is teaming up with Kristen Hanley, Francesca Eidelman, and actually their very own administrator, Mrs. Clark. And they're going to be introducing this concept of town hall. So partnering with your administration to work on improving school culture, which is topic. Really exciting. I think I want to slip away and join that town hall. Julie Girardi is really motivating students to read independently and what that looks like compared to kind of what we've accepted as the typical reading scenario in a classroom. Christine Harrison, she is informing us on really being proactive with formative assessments. So formative assessments, we know when we hear that phrase, we're like, blah. Yeah. So she's going to put some pep in our step about how to kind of be proactive and turn our mindset around with that.
It's so useful.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
And formative assessments is what drives your data. It's what drives your instruction. So it's so powerful. Pablo Martinez, being in the shoes of a language learner and what to do when they don't understand. So he actually works within our district, so we're so excited that he decided to come and participate.
The teaching and learning.
Yes. Michelle Hunt, who we've actually had before in one of our all-teacher seminars, so we're really excited that she's going to be back partnering with us, and she's talking about creating a trauma-informed classroom, which is really timely, and the content she brings, she's very animated, very positive, which I love listening to her. Morgan Mercer is talking about the aspect of the secret of schema. And so that we have a couple of actual breakouts that align to reading. So we know some reading teachers who are going to get really excited about that. Natalie McSwain, again, she's another ambassador of ours, and this one's going to be really good. She's talking about the philosophy of being deskless.
An entire classroom without
desks. An entire classroom being deskless. And I will say a couple of my previous students are in her class, just realized this, and they talked to me about what it means and what it feels like to have no desks. Yeah. And one of the comments was, I've learned not to fall asleep. Like, it's impossible.
There you go.
So I'm like, all right. And then we have a great partnership with our district's mental health facilitators. They bring some really powerful advice and some strategies and utilizing some calming corners. And then we have Amber Screen. So she is talking about, she's going to walk us through some problem scenarios with students and how to have really genuine conversations about how to approach that student. Good. Or even, like we're talking about prior to it happening, developing the type of language and conversation so those students are less likely to maybe be disruptive or have or show those types of behaviors in the classroom. So,
love it. Quite a lineup.
A lot of breakout sessions available.
Awesome. So we are going to have the link to those speakers in the show notes. We also are going to make sure to include a link for you to RSVP, obviously, because we want you to attend. But if you need a little bit more motivation, we also want to let you know that every time we have a big event, we do giveaways.
Yes.
So the school that brings the most people in attendance, they're going to get a free copy of the book, Upstream, but they're also getting a $20 gift card to Publix or Starbucks. So definitely do that. I've heard that some principals, they have that competitive spirit. They're trying to say, okay, everyone who signs up, I'm going to get us free lunch.
Yeah.
So principals, if you're listening, push.
Yes.
We welcome jeans passes. They work all the time. So definitely do that.
Yeah.
And then we are going to have some food available as well. We're talking about possibly doing like Panera or Chick-fil-A or maybe some like continental breakfast stuff. And that's all going to be at Polk State College.
Yes.
It is on a Saturday. Because we have done this the past few years during the week, and every time the feedback we get is there was not enough time. I didn't get to go to all the breakouts I wanted to go to. So you're going to get the opportunity to go to 4 different breakouts because we're doing it on Saturday and have an awesome keynote and be able to get some giveaways. So it's Saturday, February 26th, 8:30 to 12:30, Polk State College in Lakeland. Mark your calendars, click the link. We want to see you there, and hopefully we'll be able to be rejuvenated, get some great ideas so that you can already say, hey, I'm tired of dealing with the same problem and feeling downstream. I need to get upstream and start getting out of constantly feeling subject to the problem. So
it'll be worth it.
It is.
I've been in attendance on a few, and I get to work this one, so it is worth it. 100%.
Awesome.
So
we're excited. Hopefully we'll see them there.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us. You can subscribe to the Ignite Project on Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, or Spotify, or watch online at the Polk County Public Schools YouTube channel. To learn more about the Ignite Project and other Polk County Public Schools podcasts, go to polkschoolsfl.com/podcasts.